quite happy today because I finally got this working and its sister box at the other end of this set of sidings. Oh, hello from Farland. I haven't been able to use any of these sidings over here because I had no way to control them. I had the tortoise motors installed, everything was set, but I had no way to trigger the tortoise motors. And I know that you probably saw over on the key area there where I've got control set up for it, but it doesn't have the indicator lights telling me which track I'm going to be on. Well, I somehow managed to solve that. And this is what the inside of it looks like. My problem was these LEDs. I like them. I think they look very nice. You know, they're just the right size and the scale of them is exactly right. But they don't come with any kind of a lead. They come like this. They have a long one out there and a short one out there. I'll take a picture of it just to be sure you can see it. So it has those two wires, the long and the short, and by the way, it is already has resistors in there and they're already set up for 12 volts. Which is kind of convenient because that's what the tortoise motors run on, or less. So I was trying to solder leads onto them. Well, that was quite fraught with difficulty, and frankly it was kind of a pain. So I tried various different ways of wiring up the insides, and the diagram looks like this, where the LEDs are just reversed and both across the output. As you change polarity, you understand that this switch, what it does is change polarity on the tortoise motor, which causes it to change. So I'm using the output, instead of using contacts, I was thinking of using contacts, the contacts that are inside the tortoise switch, but Vinny, on his railroad down in Phoenix, I'll put the link down below, he said, well, why don't you just put the LEDs across the output and the input of the tortoise motor. And that way, you know, it simplifies things. It leaves those other contacts available for something else. Well, yeah, it does. And I decided to try that. But wiring it up was such a major challenge. All so many wires. As you could see from the wiring inside the box there are quite a few wires. The yellow ones are going out to the tortoise motors because they change polarity, and the black and red that leaves the box there over in the left-hand top corner, those are going to power, positive and negative, and you need to keep that straight in order to, when you plug it in, to make sure that your lights are all lit correctly. You have to be pretty systematic about this to make it all come out. Well, it finally occurred to me that the way to do it was to just use the leads as the terminals. So what I did was I soldered, and I hope you can see that, I soldered the leads together, only I soldered negative to positive and positive to negative, the leads of the LEDs, the lights, the panel lights, and then I soldered another wire to that joint and over to the output terminal of the switch, this switch, and did that for both sides. And that actually turned out to be a pretty quick method of getting them soldered up and wired up and ready to go. The other one, not this one, the other one I did, and it took, well, I was using partly the old method, partly the new method. And it took me, I don't know, 12, 15 hours of work to try to get it solved. But this one took me about 3 hours. And if I did another one, I could probably do it in 2, and the next one after maybe an hour and a half. So, and some would say, oh, well, it's not worth it. That's too many wires, too much trouble. But not to me. I like the satisfaction of throwing that switch, seeing the light change, and seeing the turnout change. To me, that's very satisfying. It's like you're in the signal box, you know. So, I don't know if that'll help anybody else, but getting that, using the wires themselves as the terminals for connecting them to the switch is what solved my problem. Because the wiring for the switch itself is pretty straightforward. You just have to cross them over, do an X across the terminals to the outside terminals, and then you connect the power to one end of the X, and you connect the tortoise motor to the center two, and there you go. Works great. So now I have this one down here, and at the other end of this bunch of turnouts and sidings, I'll show you. I have the other one. So it finally worked out for me, and it was really a challenge, and I'm very happy today. I'm just pleased as punch. I know the sidings look like hell. I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but they really, I didn't do them very carefully. And I changed my mind halfway through and changed the track plan. So it doesn't look very pretty, but it works great now. That's all I wanted to tell you. The other big news is I'm ripping up 2 of the main lines over by the key. I'm going to move them. So nothing's running at the moment, except, well, I can go back and forth. Let's go back over to the other control box. So I just wanted to report that I'm very pleased, and finally I can sort of move on. See, the tunnel portals are over there, so you'll never see this area. Well, you might see it, but it won't be part of the scenery. It's going to be underneath. I'm hoping, anyway, that it will be underneath. Between here and there, it'll be underneath the farm area and some fields. So that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you, but I'm pleased as punch, and thanks for watching. Bye from Farland.